Chapter 6. The Coalition. The fabrication shop smelled of hot metal and old grievance. 17 workers occupied the space when Kess led the team through the access hatch. Their faces turned toward the intrusion with wariness earned over months of secret meetings. Some of them had tools in their hands. One young man's fingers were 3 centimeters from an alarm switch. Senior fabricator Chen stepped forward before anyone made a decision they couldn't take back. She was compact and weathered, and she moved with the authority of someone who had been keeping this particular group of people alive through force of competence. Long enough that they'd stopped questioning her judgment. She held a plasma welder at her side, neither raised nor put away. "Closed meeting," she said. "We know," Kess said. "We came anyway." Jen looked at them the way Torn had looked at them. The focused assessment of someone who had learned that the briefings were not always the whole story. She took in the phosphorescent veins, the bark-like skin, the luminescent eyes. Her expression did not give much away. "Descent core," Chen said. "Flat, certain." "Former," Thane said. "You're contaminated," Chen said. Pieria didn't flinch. "We're integrated," she said gently. "That's a different thing." "Enlighten me," Chen said. So they did. Kess kept it short and specific. The Dawn Forges were failing, 12 months out despite the Council's official 18. The Council knew and had chosen to manage the information rather than the problem. The planet was not their enemy. Integration with the planetary consciousness was voluntary, irreversible, and the only viable path to survival she had found. She did not say the rest of it out loud. That the planet had been engineering this exact conversation for 3 centuries. That she no longer knew how much of what she'd just told them was her own conclusion, and how much had been placed there to be delivered here, now, to them. She would deal with that later. The workers listened without interrupting. Interrupting was a luxury for people who still had something to protect. The young man by the alarm switch broke it first. "If the Council finds out we sat here and listened, they process us whether we helped you or not." His fingers hadn't moved. "They process us either way," Chen said, still watching Kess. "Difference is whether District 12 keeps rationing air while they do it." She set the welder down on the workbench, finally, deliberately. "Show us!" Vira moved to the nearest fabricator. A massive crystal matrix printer running at reduced capacity for weeks, its output degraded, its maintenance requests unanswered. She placed her hands on the input terminals. The machine responded to her the way the anchor station's platform had responded to Perea, remembering what it was for rather than being forced or overridden into it. The fabricator's hum changed, deepened, settled into a rhythm that sounded like health. A welder named Doss, standing near the back, set down his torch and said, "That's the sound it used to make. 2 years ago, before the rationing." "My name is Seta," a young woman said, pushing through from the back of the group. Coveralls marked with the insignia of a fabrication specialist. "I've been having dreams about the surface, not the wasteland, something else, growing things." "The planet's been trying to communicate for 3 centuries, Pieria said. "Some people are more naturally receptive." Chen had moved to the fabricator's output panel. She looked at the numbers for a long moment. "How long does this last?" "Indefinitely," Vera said. "The improvement is structural, not temporary." The alarm panel on the east wall lit up. Not the building's general alarm. A specific panel tied to the district's atmospheric monitoring system. Kess crossed to it in 4 steps and read what it was telling her. "District 12, she said. "Primary atmospheric processor is failing." She looked at the team. "Has failed. 12,000 people lived in District 12. The atmospheric processor was not a redundant system." "How long?" Chen asked, her voice stripped to its functional core. "Backup reserves give them 6 hours of breathable air," Vera said. "Maybe 7 if they restrict activity." Can you fix it? Sarah asked. Not from here, Kess said. We'd need to be in the plant. Chen mapped the route in her head. 11 years of institutional knowledge against 2 weeks of security sweeps. I can get us there, she said. Jorik. Take the others back to your quarters. Normal patterns. My brother lives in Section E, Sarah said simply, and fell into step beside them rather than turning back. They moved through the maintenance corridors with Chen leading, Thane's blood sense tracking patrol positions in real time. They reached the atmospheric plant in District 12 to find the harmonic cycling had already stopped. The backups were failing. The plant was vast. Its processors were arranged in interlocking systems designed to be redundant. Through years of deferred maintenance, the redundancy had collapsed into a single point of failure. All of us, Kess said, together, same as the core. They formed a circuit around the plant's central control nexus, hands joined. Kess reached for the plant's consciousness, asking rather than commanding. The plant answered before she had finished reaching for it, eager in a way none of the smaller systems had been. What came back was raw. The plant was in crisis, its systems cascading through failure states faster than they could stabilize. For a moment, Kess understood exactly why the cycling had stopped. Whatever the deferred maintenance had done, it had done all at once, in the last hour, and there was no clean signal left to follow. Only the plant's version of pain, arriving in her chest like something trying to get out rather than in. Vera made a sound through her teeth. Thane's grip on Kess's hand went rigid enough to hurt. Somewhere inside the circuit, Paria's attention settled over all 3 of them at once, steady and deliberate. She would not let the plant's panic become theirs. Hold, Paria said, her voice steady as bedrock. Hold and breathe. Let it move through you, not into you. It took 40 minutes. Kess lost the shape of most of them. No discrete memory of individual minutes, only the sense of time having gone somewhere without her. She remembered the plant's failing systems as a held breath that would not let go, and then, slowly, as a breath that did. Somewhere in the middle of it, she stopped being able to tell her own pulse from the plant's failing rhythm and had to trust Piria's voice more than her own body to know when to hold and when to let go. Twice the cycling almost caught and slipped again before it held for good, and each time Thane's grip tightened hard enough that she would find the mark of his fingers on her hand afterward. When it finally settled, the harmonic hum came back deeper and more complex than before. Kess came back to herself slowly, like surfacing from deep water she hadn't known was that far down. Sarah was crying. Her brother was breathing clean air. And then the thing happened that Kess would think about later. They released the circuit. The 4 of them separated, stood, stretched. The plant hummed around them. Normal. But Chen had been watching from the doorway. Do that again, she said. Do what? Kess asked. What you just did. All 4 of you. At the same time. Kess looked at the others. Vera was flexing her hands. Thane was rolling his shoulders. Piria was already watching Kess. They had all, simultaneously, performed the identical sequence of recovery movements. Hands, then shoulders, then a turn toward Kess. Without discussion, without looking at each other, without deciding to. Synchronization, Thane said. His voice was quiet and careful. The circuit left residual patterns, were still partially networked. That will fade, Piria said. Will it? Thane asked. Piria didn't answer immediately. That was answer enough. We need to move, Chen said from the doorway. Security will notice the atmospheric readings change. Let them know, Thane said. His voice was rough from whatever the integration had cost him. His hands had developed new traceries of light since the circuit. 12,000 people are breathing. Let them try to make that sound like a problem. They will, Kess said. They're very good at it. She was already moving, already thinking about the next district. 12 months to reach 40,000 people and win each of them over freely. That was the practical problem underneath everything else. Hard, but possible. And something that would change the people who chose it in ways she could not predict and they could not undo. She thought about 4 people moving in unison without deciding to. She filed it next to the navigation error, next to the Guardian's practiced gentleness, next to the Core's argument shaped like a conclusion. The pile was getting harder to call a coincidence. She kept walking anyway.
Chapter Guild, Stories for Your Mind.